Hi, I'm Julie Hirt, and I don't know which way you are today on your end. Which you are, say who you are. Wait, I'm going to do this again. That sucked.
No, that's fine. You're up there for me.
Oh, really?
Well, it just depends. I presume it records as is on yours.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't know.
that's interesting because let's see. For me, you're up there. Where am I for you?
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we'll be able to see on the recording if that's the right way around.
Okay. I'll try
Anyway,
this.
I'm Kate Foggo, regardless of where I am on the screen. Stuff has really opened up for me since our last session with Danielle.
Oh, I love
But at the same time, I am feeling physically shit because
because of the diet thing, the histamine thing, or no?
well, I'm trying. No, yes, no, yes, no. I started this Wild Fit. Did I tell you? Which is it's basically making you look at all the emotion behind food because like I've realized with my weight, there are all these mechanisms by which I can screw myself down and stay slim through willpower alone for the rest of my life, and I will battle it for the rest of my life, or I can get to the bottom of what the fuck is my relationship with food. I am very aware. I was talking to someone about this, Nina, my friend Nina, and she's wonderful. I can see her going quiet. We've obviously not had a very frank discussion about food before, and she says, and she said that, she says, I don't want to alarm you or anything, but that's sort of bordering on food disorder. And I was like, yeah, sorry, Nina, I should have thought I'm 10 out of 10 on the food disorder, eating disorder. It's all right. I know where you're going. I'm there, 10 out of 10. Every little checkbox that says, if any of these apply to you, you may well have an eating disorder. Hello, that's me. Like,
Oh
so
my gosh.
it's about examining your relationship with food.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. So for last week and this week, I was encouraged to eat as I would normally eat, make no changes, except if you have not eaten things because you have not allowed yourself to eat them and you want to eat them, you can eat them. So I have been going absolutely crazy because you know me, I like to follow rules, and I am so ill. And I think it's actually wheat, because I don't normally eat bread and bagels and things just because of my weight, not because I think I'm intolerant, but I suspect I must be very intolerant. But so I'm eating, and it's really hard to do this and not eat. That's another hashtag workaround, is I have all this chorizo, aubergines, tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms, all the things I'm not supposed to eat on a low histamine diet, and I can't throw them out, Julie, so I have got to eat them. So I'm feeling quite rubbish, which is good because it's part of the process I have to go through to eventually get to the decision that I will choose not to eat these things, not because I'm not allowed them, but because they make me feel shit. So, but I've run out of bread today, so I'm on the popcorn, and then I'll have to go shopping. So, and just to all the viewers at home, I'm not suggesting to anybody that they diet like I do. So
Or it makes you feel good.
I'm bloated. Eh?
Oh, I said, or do it if it makes you feel happy. We're not here to judge. Yeah.
And are you vegetarian?
I'm trying to be vegan, actually.
Well, this thing's just come up. I know where it's going. I know he won't stop us eating meat because I think he believes you have to eat meat. But I have
Oh.
Hey, well, I don't know. I haven't got that far, but he's just started on dairy, and dairy is something I hold very, very close to my heart. So I'm going to have to give up yogurt for the low histamine. But he's started talking about why you shouldn't eat dairy in terms of infection rate, blah blah, what's in it, or
breaks my heart.
I know. He didn't talk about infection in cows. He didn't talk about the cruelty. I probably wouldn't watch it. Oh God, I don't want to give up dairy.
Well,
but I think he's going to go that way. It's cheese though. Mind you, I'm not supposed to eat cheese anyway. It's just so complicated. What do you eat? What the fuck do you eat?
I know. Me personally, what do I eat? Well, I still eat cheese right now. So I found out that I don't know if I've told you this. So I have the bad cholesterol, LDL. I have high bad LDL, and probably inherited from my dad. But on top of it, there's like a gene or an enzyme that can eat that bad LDL. I don't have that. So I have this double whammy. And so a couple years ago, my doctor, whom I love, she's in Alaska, and I hope to still talk with her. Anyway, she said, you really need to look at going as plant-based as you possibly can. And my stepdaughter is vegan, and her skin has cleared up, her hair is phenomenal, she's gorgeous. I mean, all the things, right? So, and she's given us all these cookbooks, and I really, really like the recipes. The thing I have the hardest time, so I've moved from dairy milk I'm on oat milk, but I'm thinking of switching because it just is high in calories and whatnot. It's the whole thing. I'm on a milk journey. But cheese, man, I can't. Give me a pizza any day with lots of goopy mozzarella pizza. Oh, it's like heaven. And I love like lasagna, all
I
those.
think I make good vegan cheese now. But my issue with it is all this stuff oh God, we have so much to talk about. This whole cholesterol thing, you do know it's just a marker. They don't actually know if cholesterol causes heart disease or heart disease causes cholesterol. They don't even know that.
No.
So I would just put all of that in the bin, honestly.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's a load of fucking codswallop. If you look at the research behind it, they knew at the time that they did all this that it was inconclusive, but the food industry felt that it was significant enough that they had to warn people. And actually, all they've done is cause diabetes through people moving to a grain-based diet. So anyway,
yeah.
Kellogg's, thank you, Mr. Kellogg's. Anyway, that's aside. That's another.
Yeah, but that's affected dogs too. When you said grain, like the grain-free, moving dogs off of grain-free diet has caused them to have diet. I mean, we manipulate food so much. So so what you're starting to say, I think, is like, and where I want to just say one thing too, is that there's a possibility to eat more manipulated food than if I just ate. But I don't mind getting off of meat, like red meat. Like that's just never been my thing anyway. But I love fish. So like that's a kind of a trade-off. But I feel like if I can hold broccoli in my hands and it's broccoli, like that's good. Like that type of stuff. And I don't.
You hold a baby cow in your hands, that's food. No, okay.
I don't mind taking the milk, but the veal, I love veal. Veal is a thing, but I can't do it anymore because of now knowing how veal is made.
Well, okay, so there's so much in there as well.
Yeah.
But you're right. My issue with dairy is if I had a cow in the field and I went out and milked it and I kissed its udders every night and I looked after it and and I was lovely to it. But he's actually saying that aside, you shouldn't be eating it because it's for baby cows. And I get that. And like the example he used is, if someone gave you ice cream made of human milk, would you eat it? No. So he's right. No, I don't want rat's milk. Why is cow's milk okay? So I do get it. I get that, right? But all I'm thinking is, oh my God, like, will I ever be able to eat anything ever again? But I really, really object to the fact that all this vegan stuff is paraded around as good for you. And you're like, it's not. It's done more fucking air miles than British Airways. It's made in all these different places and it's shipped here and it's shipped there and it's shipped there and then it's processed there and then it comes back. And, all this guff about it being ecologically sound based on what? If you take it from where it's grown to where it ends, the air miles of that, as opposed to, you know what I mean? It's like you can't compare. And like with oat milk, isn't that completely artificial?
What milk? Oh, oat milk?
All the milk. They're not just packaged, artificial, processed.
Yeah. And yeah, it is. It's like, who knew you could get milk from an oat? Like, that's a bit nutty. Or soy milk. Like, there's so like if you when you start to follow plant-based too, so much of it is pushed towards soy. Well, soy has its own issues, and it's just like, well, I don't want to eat more and more soy. So now I'm trying to find things. Oh, and here's the other thing. I'm trying to find things that don't have soy in them. But then I love to make pies, right? So I need butter. And so I did try vegan butter. And then when I read the label, the thing that it's made from is palm oil, which is what's killing the orangutans, this whole harvesting for palm oil. And I'm like, oh my God, like now I'm killing orangutans. Like so now I found a different vegan butter that is, I think it's coconut based. I have to go look at it. And I can find it here where I just moved to in the UP of
Well,
Michigan.
I'll let you know what alternatives he offers. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if I can
because
get off the cheese though, Kate, but I'm with you. Yeah.
well, I don't think I think the whole point of this diet is it's not a diet. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. He's going to come and slap me. It's not a diet.
It's lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Mhm.
He says it's not about giving stuff up. It's about giving you freedom to choose what you want to eat consciously.
Yeah.
So
So
anyway,
much
we'll
better.
see. We'll see. But dairy is one of the things that, okay, I know because I've tried to get raw dairy here in Scotland and it's illegal.
Oh, yeah.
But there is this point where I've been worried about this before. Is can I sort of close my mind to vegetarianism because I like meat, and because I can't eat beans and I can't eat this and I can't eat that. Like, what the fuck am I going to eat? And now, if you take away dairy from me, like, what would I eat? Eggs. He's going to tell me there's something wrong with them, I'm sure. But I do see that dairy isn't necessarily something that we are supposed to eat. I can see that. I can see the logic in that.
Yeah, we're not cows. So yeah, to your point that you said earlier. Yeah. I know. However, not so much the milk part, but the cheese part. Like their cheese is also, I'm going to go down this path. So cheese to me is also an art form. Like there's a creativity to making cheese. Like there's a creativity to making bread, and that part I hate to say too. Like, not only is cheese just enjoyable, but it is taking something that nature provides and doing something with it. And can that actually be so harmful in moderation? I don't have to eat cheese like all day long. I could, but
So could I. But in terms of your, you say you like fish. So when I do my retreat, Buddhist retreat, yay, in July,
oh,
the guy who runs it, he last time we spoke, he had started eating meat. So it's a vegan food, but they have cow's milk for those of us that
can't get off.
heathens, but everything else is vegan. And he had said he had started eating meat and fish again. And I was like, oh my God, because like you don't hear people going back from veganism like that. And I was like, why? And he said, well, to be honest, actually health.
Yeah.
He said he just found it really difficult to meet the requirements that he needed. And he also said it's just become so much more complicated if you're looking at the ecological reasons why or ecological, if that's the right word, and humanitarian aspect of meat eating and all that. He says it's actually become really difficult to judge because it's become so complicated, because now, like you say, you supporting a vegan lifestyle that's putting the palm oil and stuff, so that, so there's all that side of it. And he says a lot of these foods, I can't remember the example he used, but a lot of these foods have now become superfoods, and they've actually destroyed the lifestyle of the indigenous people who used, so it's no longer people eating meat bad, people eating plant good, because actually all these things, as soon as they become trendy or whatever, suddenly they're stamping all over someone And it's just, that unless you've actually got your own little allotment and that, so the best you can do that with meat and fish is to just try and buy responsibly sourced stuff. But actually, it's a lot easier to see the path that food has taken to your plate than it is with a lot of the vegan, good for you, made all over the world, stamping on indigenous tribes and knocking out the orangutans.
Right.
What's right and what's wrong anymore. So you can always take that view and go and buy yourself a fish or buy a fishing rod.
Yes. Yep. Which we did. We did fish in Alaska, and that was fun and lovely. And it made me feel so much better. Although I will say, though, it also gave me the appreciation for when you pull the fish out of the water, there's a clubbing aspect to it. And that,
Yes, I was going to say, yeah, that's not fun.
No, that's not fun. So that was also, it just really makes you think about what you take and giving thanks for it too. Like that way. Yeah, that part made me really think about it. And now that I'm back in an area where, in the Midwest where there's farmers markets, which we had in Anchorage too, but it was just such a short season and you had to try and get as much as you possibly could and then, freeze it and whatnot. But this hopefully will be more of an abundance. But if in Alaska, you would be eating whale blubber and, seals and things like that. So if you were to truly eat locally sourced stuff, and then the culture comes into play, huh?
When we went to Iceland, like we didn't really eat out much because it's hugely expensive, but supermarkets hugely expensive as well, and if you're only there for a couple of days. But we did go to a tasting menu, and it was minke whale, puffin, and some other endangered species. I couldn't actually eat the whale, I have to say. I couldn't. It was like a steak, and I don't know, because I am squeamish, but I'm not squeamish about meat. But I don't know if it's because my brain was expecting fish, and it tasted like meat, and it and it was very, very rare. It totally freaked me out. As in days Gary ate meat, so he ate it. But yeah, but it was puffin. I mean, to be fair, it was only like, I would say, a 0.005% of a puffin. But it was puffin all the time. I'm going, Gary, should we be eating this? But I imagine their diet's much like the Alaskan diet.
Yeah, I would guess so too. Yeah, reindeer, things like that. Yeah. Oh my, that just reminds me of when I went to China once. I had for work, I went to China, and like we had this big, huge celebratory dinner, and it was all with the Lazy Susans in the middle, and so they put all this up, and they put on the Lazy Susan, and this was all that was on it at the time, goose feet and goose tongues. And I am probably, I guess, a little squeamish because I was like, and of course you can't not eat because you're offending. Oh yeah, that was fun. That was good times.
Did you eat it?
No, I got out of it. I don't remember how, but I was able to not have to take it. Maybe because I put enough other things on my plate so it looked like I had enough on my plate, but I couldn't do it. I'm like, no.
See, I used to eat tongue. I mean, the thought of it now makes me balk a bit, but I'm sure we used to have tongue when I was a kid. I mean, it's just meat, isn't it?
Yeah. And when I lived in Germany, the woman that I worked with, there was a meat market down the road it was in Frankfurt, and she would go down because on a certain day of the week, they would have horse meat and horse tongue. And she thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. And so I just remember Uta, she would just go down and get her.
But see, this is what this guy, Eric Miadis, I don't know, says, because he was saying about the food industry, and I'm sitting there feeling all smug thinking, I don't fall for all that, I know better. But it has got to me, because like as soon as you say horse, like I know people eat horse. I didn't really like it. I had it in Australia. It was a bit too game. I don't like gamey meat.
Okay.
But then as soon as you said like horse tongue, I'm thinking, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why is eating pig okay, but eating dog isn't? I wouldn't eat dog and I wouldn't eat cat. Like I have nothing emotionally wrong with that. Fuck's sake, I eat chickens and I have chickens as pets. It's not that side of it. I'd actually have less issue eating human meat than I would eating like dog, because I don't, yeah, why? So we are brainwashed, even though we think we've educated ourselves beyond that. This is what he said about the human milk. He was like, why would you? He's apparently there are places where you can. He said 70% of the stuff they make is out of human milk, like ice cream. Why is that so disgusting to us? Like, why is that disgusting?
I don't know.
When
I just pictured. So there's a thing here in the Midwest called a dairy bar where you can go get ice cream and whatnot. So when you said human milk, like I pictured a dairy bar, but humans, and I just picture all these boobs up in.
Well, that's a different sort of thing, Julie. It's a different sort of bar altogether.
Oh man.
Actually, what he said, I'm going to say it out loud because because me saying it out loud is going to consolidate it more for me. What he said about dairy. If anyone here does not want to stop drinking milk, they can switch off now.
Yeah.
Then how and I presume you know this from what you said. What's it called? Master infection of the breast, nipples, mastitis or something like that.
Something like, yeah, I know what you're talking. I don't know. Yeah.
70% of cows have it apparently. Like, or no, okay, I'm talking guff. I think it was 20%. Anyway, whatever it is, it's an inherent infection that they all have, which is painful. And like as a woman, can't imagine. But that it's so inherent in the business that he said in the United States, he said it's also true in most European countries, but that they have he was being deliberately gross, but basically there is a percentage of pus allowed in milk because they can't not, because it's so see, it's going to stop me drinking milk.
Yep.
And that recently they had to go back to the government, the FDA rather, and ask for that to be increased because they can't meet.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I'm, so this isn't going to be a moral thing. This is going to be a bar factor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is effective. Apologies to anyone who didn't want to give up milk. I did warn you. I've still got about 6 points in the fridge I have to get through. But I don't, cheese, butter, what, I mean, what's your alternative butter?
Well, I did find it's probably in the house because I'm still in my driveway until hopefully this weekend. I know. So it's called Mikrios, or it's like Mikrios. It's a Greek brand. I don't know if it's from Greece, but the name is Greek, and I believe it's a coconut based butter. And I used it once before we left Alaska, and I think I made scones with it, and they turned out fabulous. So that.
Oh, well, actually, if you think of creamer, which I know Americans use all the time in their coffee, that's just vegetable fat and sugar.
Yeah, I know. Ugh. Yeah, and then sometimes they add hazelnut seasoning to it. That to me is hazelnut.
You know what I found though, because I love that in the States. I love having creamer and that, but it makes me really thirsty.
Mm.
And I anyway, so that's the end of dairy for me. Maybe I'll just take a while for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I do think though, if you know where, like you were saying about know the cow and, kiss the udder and all that stuff, I do think if you know where it's coming from, then hopefully it's better.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just worried about, not worried about, is that right? If I start thinking about animals and how they're kept and that, I would not eat meat. I don't think about it and I always try to buy free range. So I always buy free range chicken. Less so with meat, I have to say, because it's so fucking expensive. So I just try not to think about it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll have to. But I remember when we were on a holiday in the Maldives, all those air miles, darling. And they were showing us how they grow there, and they do hydroponics, like they grow all this stuff in water and jelly and stuff like that. And they showed us where they keep the fish. So they've got tanks where the fish are in, kept alive. And there was this big concrete tank, and there's like one fish in it because it was. And I honestly, I looked at this fish and I thought, if I care about animals, how can I not care about this fish? He's on his own in a concrete tank. Okay, he wasn't always. It's just because he's the last one to be eaten. I don't have an issue with them being killed as long as it's done humanely. But what sort of trauma did he go through to get there? What sort of life is that for him, swimming around in a concrete tank? And then you're like, oh, this will never end.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. On the way down on driving from Alaska to here, we passed ranch after ranch after ranch after ranch with all the cows, and then huge feedlots that just go miles and miles, and it's all these cows packed in, and that's just, oh my gosh, I'm just watching out my window a blackbird chase a squirrel. Super cute. I don't know what's going on, but very cute. Anyway, but I'd read it long ago that animals that are treated like that, like in these humongous feedlots, and then they're sent, so they're out of their element to a degree. They're not truly being cared for one-on-one. They're all shoved together. They're in mud, they're in muck. It's not nice and pretty. So they're different hormones, and like fear stuff starts to increase. And then you take them to the slaughterhouse, through a truck. They drive it. They don't drive a truck, but they're in a truck, and and all that, and all of these enzymes, and it seeps into the meat. So instead of caring for the animal, like a wild animal's running free, and then you harvest it, if you will, or hunt it and then give thanks, like that doesn't happen to these other animals. And so you're ingesting all of that too, which they're showing affects us too, because of course it's all the web of life. And it's back to, so back, and not to circle back to the LDL, but just lifestyle can also help minimize all of what the LDL can do to my body. So when we first saw that the LDL numbers were high, the next question she asked me was, so how's your stress level? And at that time I was fully employed and it was super high. And she's like, so what's your exit plan? Like, you can change or you can die. So
that's your exit plan, Julie.
Yeah, that was my exit plan. I got laid off, and here I am talking with you.
And that's it, because that's what, like, Abraham says is about food, that we worry so much about food. And she says, all these things are nice, and it's great that you care about the environment and the planet and animals and all of that, and it's all fabulous and whatever makes you feel good, but fundamentally, what is primary to your health? She said you can throw a lot of shit at the human body, the magnificent machine. The biggest impact on your health is how you feel. As in your emotions, not Kate's eating too much flour and she feels like a big fat beach ball. I find myself wheezing like an old person because actually my stomach's so hard that it's pushing against my lungs. I'm sitting down and going, so I've had a real eye opener on this wild fit. Having said that, I've got another 5 days. I could just nip out and buy another loaf of bread. Oh, I've got bread maker. I can make bread.
You can make bread. My sourdough starter's in the freezer right here, waiting to come out.
Sourdough. Not allowed sourdough because of histamine.
Oh, it's so good for your tum-tum, though.
Really not my tum-tum.
Oh.
So I am in conflict about the histamine thing because, when I'll see how it goes without mealies, but like this thing I'm supposed to drink every morning, 2 of the ingredients I can't. There's only 3 vegetables that are high in histamine, and they're all in his fucking milkshake in the morning, not milkshake, veg shake in the morning. Spinach, avocado, and something like that. But anyway,
is it good? Does it taste good?
It's all right. But what's so to start with, it's 1 to 4 apples. Maybe I need to put more apple in it. Then you add, I've been putting kale in instead of spinach because spinach is high in histamine, which I know is not as nice as spinach in a smoothie. Celery and cucumber. So it's all right. But what gets me is our veg is just fruit, especially, so utterly tasteless, like absolutely shit. So I have actually signed up for an organic veg box,
Oh,
and we'll see how that goes, and fruit. So I think it'll be a bit more expensive, but I am thinking as well, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and find some artisan pig rearer who carries his pigs to the abattoir on his back and holds them in a cradle while he kills them. Okay, Julie, so we're going to have to wrap it up now. Wrap it up. Food. There was a joke in there somewhere. I think we have a program called wrap. Oh, never mind. Right, that's bollocks. Do it again. Don't try and provocate. I might leave that in actually. No, it's raw. It's real. I didn't get it. I got it wrong. I fucked up, and it's all right, and I'm still alive. I'm still alive,
Yep.
and we're okay.
Yep.
And we can still say, right. So I suspect, especially whilst I'm doing this wild bit. Oh my God, dairy. I suspect there'll be lots more conversations like this, even if it's just like, well, what do you do instead of butter? And I'm going to go make myself some bread and eat it with a pound of butter while I still can. Okay, so you're Julie Hirt, I'm Kate Foggo, and we are making light.
we are. See you next time.